It's time to talk about how AI might be used across languages to find terms that have the same meaning for a similar concept, but that are really a challenge for machine translation. This is really important if you're going to be using computers to translate things like medical concepts, legal concepts. But for right now, let's use something a little bit more straightforward so that you can see how AI or machine translation doesn't capture, and what needs to be done in order to effectively take concepts from one language and get the right term in the other languages so that it's used consistently in the future for translation. What we want to do is find a way to learn the concept in another language and then be able to apply that knowledge over and over again. Usually, every time you ask the question to a machine translation like Google Translate or to an AI like Bard, it's going to go do the research over and over again. It's going to come up with different answers at different times, which is not what you want. What you really want is to cement these cross-linguistic translations once you've confirmed them. But what you get from machine translation or AI is usually not confirmed. It's just proposed. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. How do you solve that? Okay, let's look into this. Last winter, a friend was picking me up at a train station near her house, and we were going to go skiing. And so where were we going to meet? We needed to meet in front of the train station, and there's a drop-off zone. When I got there, I saw it was called a dépose minute, a quick place to deposit someone and to park for a minute, pick up or drop somebody off, and move on down the road. You're not leaving your car, you're not getting out of your car, you're just, somebody's getting in, somebody's getting out, and then the space is free for the next person. I remembered this when I was visiting somebody in Washington, D.C., and he dropped me off at the Washington Metro, and they had something called, what was it? Kiss and Ride. Here is a kiss and ride in front of a childcare center in Ontario, Canada that I found on Flickr. So while I was waiting for my friend to show up so we could go up to the mountains, I got to thinking, okay, kiss and ride, dépose minute. Those are the same concept, but machine translation is probably not going to pick that up, right? There's probably not a place where these are linked so that machine translation knows that these are the same thing and you can go from English to French, much less to other languages. Let's look up kiss and ride first. And here it is in Wiktionary. A car park or other roadside location at a railway station, etc., to allow for dropping off and picking up of passengers. First, let's go to Langui and see if in the English to French corpus there are direct translations. This shows the sources that are often used by something like DeepL to compare terms across languages. In this case, I scroll down and see that there actually really is no place where kiss and ride gets a proper translation. Generally speaking, in Langui, they're just transposing kiss and ride directly into French. Okay, so that's a no. How about Google Translate? Google Translate, kiss and ride. Embrasser et rouler. Nope, that's just a direct mot à mot translation. DeepL, s'embrasser et rouler. That doesn't work. And again, the three other options, embrasser et rouler, is the same as Google Translate. How about Bing? Bing recognizes that it's an expression, it's not translating word for word, but it's just giving the English. It's not going to dépose minute. How about Sistran? Ooh, that's a little bit more risque. Okay, so the machine translations are not doing it. They're just trying to go word for word or not. How about AI? Let's go to Bing. What is kiss and ride in French? Kiss and ride is an informal term used to describe a car park or other roadside location at a railway station, airport, etc. for brief stops to allow the dropping off and picking up of passengers. In French, kiss and ride is often translated as dépose minute. Okay, great. Bing got it. Bing nailed it. How about ChatGPT? In French, kiss and ride is often referred to as dépose minute or zone de dépose minute. The term is used to describe a designated area, usually at a transport hub, like train stations or airports, where drivers can quickly drop off passengers before departing. So far, so good. The term emphasizes the idea of a quick and convenient drop-off, much like a quick kiss goodbye, and then the driver continues on their way. It's a fairly good answer. So actually, looking back a couple of days later, I see that this last sentence was not a good response to this question because it doesn't, right? The French doesn't talk about kissing in any way. The English talks about kissing, but the French is quick drop-off. It has nothing to do with kissing. So here the AI is going back to the English and kind of making up something that if you don't look at it very closely, and I was trying to move through quickly there, I didn't pick it up. I was thinking there's something here that's not quite right, but I didn't give it that close inspection that I probably should have, and that's what happens a lot with AI. Something looks plausible, so you sort of say, yeah, okay. Now, back to the original video. How about Bard? The most common translation of kiss and ride in French is dépose minute, or zone de dépose. It's a designated area where drivers can quickly drop off or pick up passengers, typically at a school, train station, or airport. The goal is to reduce traffic congestion and improve safety. This is also excellent. Okay, so this leaves us with a couple of more questions then. One, does this work in other languages? Or are we really kind of dealing with the cream of the crop here? Are we really getting lucky here with the French? And two, how do we capture this knowledge so that it's banked, we can use it again in the future, and we know that we're getting the right thing? So I want to go back to the Wiktionary, because there's something interesting in the Wiktionary that shows how this connection might have been made. In Wiktionary, somebody's made a link between kiss and ride and dépose minute. The whole way Wiktionary deals with translations between languages is weird and ineffective, but it's a subject for a different video. In any case, this does show that a link has been made between these two terms in these two languages for the single concept. So you can see that there is a good pathway. I'm not saying this is the pathway that they use, but there are pathways in this instance where the term was translated correctly from English to French. Well, how about English to Swahili? Let's ask AI again. Here we've asked Bing, what is kiss and ride in Swahili? And it comes up with busu, which is kiss, and safari, which is trip. So they're getting the idea somehow that you're going on a journey with safari rather than that you're going on a ride, but they're not getting the overall idea of just dropping somebody off quickly and moving along your way. How about ChatGPT? In Swahili, kiss and ride can be translated as busu na safari. Busu means kiss, safari means ride or journey in this context. So kiss and ride in Swahili conveys the idea of a quick kiss and then continuing on the journey, similar to the concept of drop-off zones at transportation hubs. So basically they are proposing something, but they're not finding something that's actually used. And they're making it up, which does not tell us whether this is something that is used or would even be understood by a Swahili speaker. With Bard, there is no direct translation of kiss and ride in Swahili. However, the most common way to describe this concept in Swahili is Eneola kuacha na chukua abiria. I like this. They're saying, okay, there isn't a known term in Swahili that has exactly the same meaning, but let's dig a little deeper, propose something, and put it out there. Just understand that you're not going to go to a train station and see a sign that says Eneo la kuacha na chukua abiria. For immediate use, this is a great use of AI. Now, can this be used in lexicography? Can this be used to cement a translation for future use, for putting in a dictionary, for putting in a machine translation engine so that in the future if you have kiss and ride, it will pop up this term for Swahili? Let's think about this. You'll often hear computer scientists talk about something called machine learning. But machine learning depends on actually being able to know with confidence that what the machine has proposed is correct. There's a basic fallacy in our thinking about AI that once the machine has gotten it, it's gotten it. You know, if you've spent any time with ChatGPT or Bard, that that's not the case, that you get answers that are a little bit off or wildly off. And you're often able to use your own intelligence to say, okay, yes, this works, this doesn't work. But sometimes you're not. A good use of AI might be for figuring out compounds that might be useful for medicines. You have AI run 1 million simulations, it comes back with 20 proposed compounds that may work. You go to the lab, you test those 20 instead of all million, and from those 20 you wean it down to ones that are actually effective. And maybe you find 2 that are effective and 18 that aren't, out of that million to start with. But you would never take any of those 20 and just grab them out of the AI and make them and inject them into a human, right? Similarly with translation, the AI can go and find all the possible connections and come back with a proposal, but we don't know if that proposal is dépose minute or is that proposal busu na safari. Is it good? Is it bad? What we want to do now is take the proposal and go to humans and say, yes? No? That's the missing step. That's the philosophy at Camusi when we're looking for terminology translations across languages so that we can get good dictionaries and resources for medical translation, for example, or for legal translation. What the new AI technology enables us to do then is to send out a search. What is this term in French? What is this term in Swahili? What is this term in Chinese? Get back the proposals, and then put those proposals in front of actual human beings to be evaluated, to be rated yes No, I don't know. In specialized contexts, the idea is to find specialized evaluators, people who are in a situation to know and make a judgment. If what the public tells us is this is not something that's usable, we can A, mark it as, okay, this doesn't work, and B, we still need to go and use other procedures to find something that works. This is really where I see AI and lexicography merging. We use the large language models to go and scour what they've got, come back with possibilities, and then we take those possibilities, test them with real humans. And once we've confirmed that, it's not machine learning, it's learning with the aid of machines. And then we can be much more confident and go forward and use that. We can even use that as training material for future AI, where we are now feeding to the knowledge base. This is confirmed knowledge. And it can be used for ever more intelligent machines. At the point where we are now, where we just say, what is kiss and ride in language X? And trust what we get back? What is mitochondrial DNA, or what is presumption of innocence, or any other term where it's important that you get it right because it has repercussions down the road. It's a bad idea to spit back what the computer submits in the first instance. Use the computer to find possibilities, test those possibilities with humans, and then put those into the database, and then you've got something that's really intelligent. Now, this is not an approach that the computer science community is currently taking. It's something we're working towards at Camusi, but getting it funded, getting it into action is something that I'm still working to accomplish. So if you want to support some of the underlying developmental work, I've got students working on some of these things in the lab. It would be great if you could go to the donate page at Camusi and chip in, and we'll put that towards projects that are working in this direction. If you'd like to support the work of the development of these videos, it takes hours and hours to make a video like this, so if you could go to the Patreon page, it would really help out directly on that. I'd love to see what you think about this and maybe be able to respond to thoughts of yours in future videos. So do please share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell other people, subscribe to the Pirate Professor channel here on YouTube. I hope you found this video interesting, maybe a bit provocative, and see you again soon.